Welcome to the Guidebook of the Week series. And you're hearing it right, folks. This is Christmas music. It's a holiday special this week. We're going to look at how to bake gingerbread cookies. So VKS for the first time is going to be used to represent a cooking recipe. Actually, that's not right. We've got a customer that actually owns a restaurant that uses VKS for their instruction on cooking up the recipes. But at least it's the first time we represent it in a Guidebook of the Week series. So gingerbread cookies take a lot of time. Make sure you have some time ahead. You can start working on the dough overnight if you want. Let it chill in the fridge and then finish it up later. The day after, or you can keep it in the fridge for 3 days if you want. It's a very fun recipe to do with kids. Personally, I did it alone. That's okay. It's not sad at all. So let's go and dive into that. All right, gingerbread recipe. Again, a quick reminder that you need to have some time ahead. If you want, by the way, to get this guidebook for yourself, let us know. We'll email it to you. Otherwise, you can just press pause in the video at the right moment if you prefer. Alright, so let's dive. If it's in the morning or at night, just pour yourself a nice large coffee. You will need it. Lots of frustrations can come from baking cookies like this, but at least I hope I will take those all the way through a recipe built in a guidebook. I had to make lots of mistakes to come at this point, so hopefully it's all resolved. All right, ingredients. They're all laid out here. You can click on the little droplets here if you do have the guidebook. Look on the side. We've got all the amounts that you're going to need. I'm just going to scroll down here so people that don't have the guidebook can see the amount of flour. Make sure you have enough flour. I didn't. So I had to cut it with almond flour. I made the cookies pretty hard to work with, but that's fine. Eventually, I went to the store and got some for the last step. So yeah, make sure you've got enough. Those are the ingredients for the icing. So corn syrup, confectioner's sugar, food coloring. This is what you need. You also need water, but I presume you have running water in your home. I hope you do. Uh, then you can actually start, just get a large bowl, put some room temperature butter in there. If it's coming out from the fridge, you can put it in the microwave for a couple of seconds. Beat it until smooth. Should take about 1 minute. You can see the texture at the bottom here. Incorporate brown sugar and molasses. You see the quantities on the right here. That's nice. It means you don't have to go back on the first step to always look at what the quantities are, which I had to do in the recipe I was following on my phone. At the same time of filming everything, it was not super easy, but here at least you see it there. And I'll make the parallel with manufacturing. Often when some people need to mix some regions together or they need to do a certain assembly, they're used to look at the bill of material list, and they always go back to the BOM to see the quantities and the part numbers that they'll need. In VKS, we prefer showing that information as you go in your assembly at the right time. Here's the part numbers you need on this step. You don't always have to go back, and droplets work great for this. First form, do you own an electric beater? Something looking like that. So if you do, congratulations, you're a pro. Just take it out. You'll need it for the next step. Otherwise, you can still use like a manual a spatula or even a fork if you feel crazy a bit. Just double the amount of time it takes to mix the things together. We have a little nice animation here. So this is what you got to do. Make sure you use your second hand not to hold your phone but to hold the bowl. I actually dropped the bowl on its side when I did that. So yeah, just secure it. Mix it for about 1 minute until you get that nice creamy texture. Just set it up on medium high speed and go to town. Then you can add vanilla, the egg, and just beat it again for at least 2 minutes on high speed until you get that very nice appetizing texture and color, and then just set the bowl aside. It will be time for the dry ingredients. So set another bowl, mix everything at once. Again, you can see the list on the right here. Put everything in, mix with a fork, pretty simple. Then 1 cup at a time, you're going to add those dry ingredients in the other mixture. Just add it in. Use your electric beater. Once it's incorporated, you can add another cup until everything's in. And use dough hooks if you can, if you do have some. It's going to work a bit better. You can taste a little bit if you want at this point. I had a bunch of it, but that's okay. It's fine. All right, so then you lay a big piece of plastic wrap on the counter. Take half of your dough, put it on, just add another piece on top, and just smash it and make it flat into some kind of pancake. The flatter it is, the faster it's going to cool down in the fridge. And then just repeat it for the second half. Uh, and make sure you chill them. Make sure you chill them for at least 3 hours. Very, very important, or otherwise the dough is going to be hard to work with. While it's chilling, you can stop there and do this part later if you want. But might as well do it since we have everything out. So while it's chilling, we'll do the icing. So those are the ingredients you need. So vanilla, confectioner's sugar, corn syrup, and water. Again, I hope you have water at home. Take a bowl and mix it with a fork. And you should aim for this consistency. So you see it in the animation, delicious. If it's too thick, you should add some water. If it's too thin, you should add a bit of sugars. And here we see there's a mistake. Actually, it's mixed up. Uh, it's fine. You know what? We'll use one of the feature in VKS at any point in time. If you're an operator, you look at the process, you see a mistake, you can actually send a message at any time to a predefined group of users. So in my case, let's say I select continuous improvement team, I can write down something, and VKS is going to send that message via email to all the members in the group, and it also comes with context. So in the email, they'll know that it's step 13. They'll know my name. They know what guidebook I'm working on, what product I'm in, since when I started working on this. So I don't have to write the mistakes on step 13. All I have to do is something like too thick and too thin are mixed up. And hopefully they create a new revision, make it better. It's all about continuous improvement. There's also an approval process in VKS. So whenever you build that new instruction, that new revision, you can submit it in an approval process to make sure every department looks at your instruction. They can spot some mistakes, suggest some comments. You'll get it back. You'll see their comments. You can make the modification, submit it again in the approval process until everybody is okay with it, and then it's released, which I did not do. So that's why I've got that mistaken. Then another form, please select your favorite character. So how this one works is if you pick the Grinch, you're going to skip a couple of steps. But in our case, come on, it's the holidays, so I feel like Santa Claus right now. So what it's going to do is showing us some extra steps on how to do colored icing, which should be fairly simple. If you're with kids and you're not alone, they'll have fun with those steps here. So you'll need those ingredients: Rudolph's red nose snot, Christmas tree essence, concentrated snowman tears, a couple of plastic bags, and some bowls. And you're just going to split the icing in between your bowls. And just keep some in your large bowl because you probably still want some white colored icing. You can add some snow in it for magic and a couple of droplets in each. Mix everything and then put them in your plastic bags. Now you can use a plastic bag holder jig if needed, which is any random glass lying around. I didn't use that before. It's not the kind of thing written in any recipe, but in a visual instruction, you see it and it's easy to copy. So just do it. It's going to be a bit easier, and then just lay your icing aside. At that point, you can stop the video. Unless it took you 3 hours to do the icing, maybe it did. In this case, your dough's chill enough. You can continue. Otherwise, just press pause and start the oven once you come back, and just to preheat it, essentially. Take a cooking tray, lay some parchment paper, take out as much as you can because you're going to have lots of cookies. I had 200 at the end, so make sure you've got lots of trays, or it's going to take a bit longer to cook everything up. So yeah, put some parchment paper on that, and then take out some flour. You'll need a bunch of flour, very important. So at that point, I went to the store to buy some, came back. Make sure you have a rolling pin, otherwise, like in my case, I didn't have any, so I used a Cuban banana liquor bottle. You can use that, works super well, adds a bit of a banana flavor. It's great. Cookie cutters, make sure you have those as well. I tried, to cut some little shapes with a knife in the dough. That doesn't work. Don't do that. So I had to go again to the store, dollar store, to buy them. So make sure you have them. And caliper, it's not required. Then what you're going to do is clean everything. Clean your hands, clean the countertop, clean your rolling pin, and then just lay flour everywhere. Don't hesitate. Just put as much as you can. The less sticky everything will become, the easier it will be to work with. Put out one of your pancake dough, put that on the countertop, use your rolling pin, roll it around, press it in about a 1/4 inch thickness. You can use your caliper at that point. And again, go to town with the flour. Put some again on the dough if it's sticking to the rolling pin. The white spots you see on the dough will disappear in the baking process anyway. And then it's time to use the cookie cutters to cut some shapes. And at first, like it doesn't tell you how to do that in the recipe. If you're not good at cooking like me, you'll probably start by putting some shapes everywhere in the dough and then one by one try to take them out. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. So just go one at a time. Just press your cookie cutter in the dough. Just remove the dough around it and just like pull away, make it fly, remove it from the cutter, put it on the tray, and then just do that again with the others until your tray's full. And then you can put it in the oven. And while this tray will cook, you can fill out another tray while it's cooking. And once the first batch is going to be ready to take out of the oven, you're probably going to get done with the other tray, so you can just constantly switch them around like this. You'll get some scraps out of the dough for sure, so just re-roll it again in the pancake until you just cook everything up. So for the cooking process, you'll put that in the oven for 8 minutes. Let's say we're not ready to start counting yet. You can just close that timer, open it again from the side here. So 8 minutes for the small cookies that I had. If you have really large cookies with a like big thickness, you can maybe add a couple of minutes in there if you want. In my case, I actually burned 2/3 of my cookies. I just didn't learn from my mistakes, and I kept burning them. The recipe called for 10, 12 minutes. Didn't work in my case because they were small. Start with 8 minutes. In worst case, just add more time later on. Then it's decoration time. So make sure the cookies have cooled down. They were not in my case, so everything was dripping everywhere. Created little monsters. So make sure they have cooled down before you apply some icing. So what you'll want to do is take out one of your plastic bag, cut the tip with scissors, and then just apply icing and make little shapes and have some fun with it. Get your kids to help you if you have some. And just this requires hand-eye coordination. I dropped more than one batch on the floor, so a couple of them just broke down, and then 2/3 burned. So my yield was not super high. Hopefully, with all those tips in there, yours will be pretty good. So yeah, pay attention. And then you can eat them all. But again, you'll have so much that you should give some away to friends and family. It's the holiday spirit. And once you arrive at the end, we've got one final form. You can name your gingerbread species here. Oh boy, super original VKS. Yeah. You can take a picture of your finished work. You can add some little tips you've developed that were not represented in this guidebook. We will get this form via email. So then we can incorporate your tips and we can get your pictures, post that on social media as well. So please fill it if you can. And then we arrive at the end and obviously everything closes. So thank you everyone for listening. Next week, we're actually in 2 weeks, about 2 weeks after the vacation, we should be presenting a guidebook of the week that will be about medical devices. Until then, I hope you had some fun. I hope you'll have a bunch of cookies that should last for the rest of the holidays if you keep them for yourself or if you just are a hungry person. So just enjoy your holidays, enjoy Christmas, and have fun.